Hello, you're listening to the Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we will be discussing Futurama Season 3, Episode 5, The Bird Bot of Icecatraz, with your host, Tommy Roulette.
How's it going?
Pete Woodward.
That's me.
And I'm Rick Horchie. Joining us today is our special guest, Bill Squire. Thanks for being here, Bill.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. Am I the first third-time guest?
You are the first third-time guest. And not just are we happy to have you, it's also kind of fun because there's people who are like actively upset that they haven't been on twice, and now you're like lapping them again.
Nice.
Yeah.
That makes me even happier.
Friend of the show.
Yes, I like that status. And then someday, Horchie will be dead, and I'll slide into his spot.
In there. I mean, he could just have an accident at work with that poison they use to kill things.
It's not harmful.
It could be any sort of thing. It's I'm actually impressed with the way that you managed the title of the episode because it's kind of a tongue twister.
I don't know. I looked at the characters.
And you translated them in your brain. But like, as you were saying that, I'm like, you almost fucked that up, but you didn't. And that's nice.
If I would have, would you blame that it was a difficult title or just that I was reading something?
Probably just you.
I didn't even pay attention if you said it right, so.
Well, that's hurtful.
We only have so much
I don't
bandwidth.
start listening until I hear my name. That's when I start listening.
So,
someone knows how to do radio.
yeah.
As a guy that is on the air every day, I don't say a word till someone says my goddamn name.
If you need a fill-in, Tom's ready to go.
Do you have to come straight from here, from like when you guys finish up, or
No, I went home and was able to make dinner and then come over.
really? Did you guys stop at like 7, right?
Yeah, we get off at 7, and then I live in Lakewood, so that's like a 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then it's here.
a
Before
very
you.
slow person. Yeah. So,
Yeah. It's not good.
well, I was really busy being laid off. I have no excuse. Hi, Brandy.
Hi, Brandon.
Pete's wife just walked by.
Yes, she's intruding. She just came back from a birthday party for a restaurant. She's probably a little tipsy.
A birthday party for a restaurant?
Yeah.
Was this episode like one you specifically picked, Bill, or was it
Well,
just
I was
random?
just going to ask you that because I gave you those 4 for like the next block or whatever. Was there a reason you picked this one?
It's one of the first episodes I remember watching because I watched it when it was on, but I could catch episodes here and there.
Yeah.
And then this is the one that I remember watching with my friend TJ, who is in Cloud Nothings.
Oh, yeah.
We watched
That's
this one
my
together.
ex's cousin.
And oh, really? Okay, weird. So we watched this, and I just remember being like, oh yeah, I need to make this show a priority. Like I need
This
to watch
needs to be
it 'cause it's
appointment
so
television.
goddamn funny with all the, just like the don't let them pick your pocket, all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
I thought it was incredibly funny.
This episode, like the cleverness of the wording of the jokes isn't my favorite compared to some other episodes, but the episode itself is just
And the topic and the way the story unfolds, and like the Fry being passed over for captain. Like there's so many
there's just
silly things.
There's some world building in here that I liked. After the Jumbotron cartoon where it was a space monkey kissing a clown, I just wanted to make note of that because it was another like,
look. I thought it was kissing like a fishbowl or something.
well, it was like inside there was the clown inside the fishbowl or something. It was one of those realistic looking cartoons, which is always more troubling than like Felix the cat or Bosco the racist. Whatever, is a cat? Is Bosco a cat?
We decided he was a dog.
He's more of a dog. He's
turned
like
into a dog later.
that Universal
okay.
Warner Brothers dog, where like it's supposed to be a person, but it kind of has a little dot nose, and it's just a dog.
Yeah, it was. That one kind of made me scared for the first time in a long time.
It was called Bubbles.
Bubbles.
Yeah, it was one of those rotoscope cartoons.
That's what I mean. Those are
Yeah.
the scary ones, like the Ralph Bakshi.
Man, I don't even think I guess because when I watch it, it skips over the opening sequence.
If it's on a loop,
Yeah.
it'll go through it. And it like we've had other people mention this, but this certainly happens to me. Like when the credits are rolling on Netflix, it's always really grainy and takes about 25 seconds for everything to sharpen up.
Yeah, that's true.
For it to buffer all the way, and mine does that too.
But I just had to get the Jumbotron thing in to piss Tom off. But it was as the episode as a whole.
You're mean.
It was. I know. I have my ways. The world building of calling in like I mean, we'll get to it later, but like Free Waterfall Senior.
This is the second Waterfall family where.
And I think I was on the episode. I think I brought it up to you guys that this was a reoccurring character.
Yes.
Oh, well, see, I can't even remember our own episodes.
Right, but I remember because I've only been on 2, now 3.
So it's the one with where they dress the monkey up as Leela. That's the one you were on before, right?
No, it's the vegetarian, the Poplars episode.
Wasn't there one in the Nixon episode or Mars University one?
No, I think it was the Nixon one.
Oh,
there's one later too, I know, but the Poplars one.
Poplars for sure.
Yeah, that was the guy that kept saying "shut up."
Yeah,
and then I'm trying to think.
no, Bill wasn't on the Pop.
I
wasn't
know,
on that
but
one,
there
I think I
was
brought
the
it
other
up.
one.
Was it Brannigan Begin Again? Was that it? Or that was just the hillbilly.
there was a hillbilly guy on that one.
The lawyer. The
All right, you know what?
lawyer.
I'm confused because I think the Infosphere said this was the second appearance of the Waterfall family, but I think it's the third. I think they got it wrong because I feel like
Stupid Infosphere.
you were on an
Maybe.
episode that this can't just be the second appearance of that family, right? Because we've talked about it so many times.
I remember him bringing it up the one time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So
And maybe it wasn't on that episode. Maybe I just brought it up because I.
Maybe we were talking about
Jumped the gun.
reoccurring characters or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, that could have been it.
I enjoyed it. And the fact that he was played by Phil Hendry too is like even better because you get that same voice actor doing the different generations and equally crazy. But I didn't realize that the Styropack cookies were a thing. Like I think you might have posted a meme of this or something recently, Orchie, with the machine, or I saw someone do it with like the cookie splitting machine.
It wasn't me. I think it was another.
It's the cookie making
Futurama.
machine.
Right. I didn't realize it was a cookie maker, so I thought he was putting it in and splitting it. I'm like, oh, haha. And I didn't realize he was like taking individually wrapped pieces, squeezing them together, and then tearing them apart
Tearing
again.
it apart, licking off the frosting, and then throwing the rest away.
Oh my god.
And it sets up the episode because this is a environmentally conscious episode.
Yeah.
And it sets up the episode perfectly in that they're being so wasteful, and it's in such a funny Futurama way where Fry gets to do this, and then like the Bender hair, the antenna spray,
Yeah.
aerosol.
yeah, the
Aerosol.
aerosol head spray.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say anything about how it's unrealistic that a spray would make a metal antenna floppy. I'm not even gonna do it. But it's the environmentalism part. Like Fry and Bender are just generally slobs. Like a few episodes ago, the one with when Fry's girlfriend got unfrozen, and they showed the cryolab after they've been working in it for a little bit, and it's just like filled with garbage and bottles and like shit on the floor. Like they're just generally wasteful and bad, hard on the environment people, I think.
But you know, it's funny. Back in the episode, with the garbage ball, Leela said that everything is recycled. So,
That's true.
Yeah, it's a big contradiction.
and it was
so it's retcon. Perfect.
yeah.
Who's bringing up the
And they should be,
inconsistencies
if
now,
they need
Tom?
to, they should be happy to make another garbage ball just in case the one they shot into space comes back.
Well, maybe it's so the continuity is so good that they realize that they need to have garbage just in case.
Oh, so
Yeah.
now they're
God.
improved on that. Yeah. You don't know what's happening.
Yeah, maybe
you know, off,
they're not
you know.
recycling everything, and Fry's just a what?
It's a good
sloppy
environmentalist.
person.
But also, if you are recycling everything, it's not like you have to sort it anymore because they probably have machines and robots
Yeah.
that can do all that. So if they're just having garbage all over their office, then they can clean that up and just put it into the recycling bin, which is now just the
You
trash
don't-
bin.
But that wouldn't explain why Leela's concerned.
You don't see a lot of
Oh,
Roombas
good point, yeah.
around the Planet Express office or the future in general, which is sort of surprising.
Well, they got the cute little ones with the arms that sweep up the garbage into the, when they're at the
Blair's Ball game.
Blair's Ball game.
But that's like at an outdoor stadium thing. I mean, you'd think they'd have those around their houses and stuff.
Maybe they do.
especially
You
if they're
just don't
sloppy.
need to see them
All the
sweeping
time.
things up. There's a whole episode with a Roomba type robot, kind of. I don't know. It's the X1 robot.
Yeah, I
It's
remember.
sort of related to that.
All right.
I don't know.
I'll take
You'll
your word
see
for it. I imagine we'll get there eventually.
But did you notice that the professor actually invented the finger longerer? Because he was
No.
using it to point out on the map for the
Oh, instead of
The
that's
for
what
their
would have
delivery.
happened if I had
That's-
invented the.
That's really funny.
well,
I
wait.
didn't notice that.
Then does that?
That means there was an episode where he asked the what if machine
What would happen,
and then he went ahead and did it.
And then when we talked about that episode, you guys swore up and down that I was being an asshole for saying this stuff doesn't make any sense.
Him asking the machine is something that happened in reality. Everything that happened on the machine
was showing what would happen
Yeah.
if it became a reality that he invented the thing longer.
Yeah.
So he made the thing longer, and thus all of those things that the machine showed should have in
Can
fact
somebody
come
else
true.
Explain that in a simpler way? Like
It's a
take that down?
cartoon.
No,
Yeah.
but even
But
no,
in,
I actually
all
want
I
you
was
to,
pointing out is actually he has a finger.
I know,
longer
which
now.
I
brings
want
up
you to
serious,
get this. I want you to get this. So the professor asked the what if machine in reality, what would happen if I invented this thing longer? It shows him.
Yeah.
Then later he invents it.
Which
Now
means
he has it.
Which means all that other stuff is going to happen.
No, how?
There's a possibility that it could happen.
Why?
Remember
why?
we discussed alternate universes and parallel universes in that
No,
whole
no,
thing.
no. Wait. Why? Why
All
would
of
that
all
make
of a
all that
sudden,
stuff happen?
everybody's a like theoretical physicist.
No, it's
I'm just
really
saying-
simple.
No, it's not. You have a machine that is answering the question, what if?
What does him making the finger longer later have to do with the machine?
No, he's saying that if he invented the finger longer, it should.
That's a whole nother level. I wasn't even.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
saying that.
So he's going to that.
So
yeah.
if
So I
he
get what
does
you're
that, then it
saying.
has to happen
Right.
if the machine's correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
Damn.
The what if
Why didn't
machine-
you explain it to me in a simple way so I would know what's going on?
I was trying,
The what if machine should have predicted all those things to actually happen, but
Or they're going to happen now that he has done it. So
Very
Leela's
true.
going to get green stripes on her boots, and everyone's going to get murdered.
and they have announced that they're going to come out with a game, so maybe that'll be the storyline of the games,
Oh.
and then it will all tie
That'd be a good
tie it up
for the
together.
game.
Do you think? I mean, she had the element of surprise in that little vignette, but do you think who would survive and who would get killed in one-on-one hand-to-hand combat with Leela?
But she's the most dominant one. She would kill them all.
Yep.
In hand-to-hand combat, what if you could have accessories or weapons?
Still Leela. She's just.
She's the best
You know.
warrior. She's the best fighter of all of them.
Okay,
And Bender's too lazy to be concerned with it.
that's true. She could just throw him into a garbage disposal and be done with it.
Pretty much.
All
shoot him
right.
with a broken microwave.
Yes. throw a. I'll bring that up later.
Push him into the can opener, the industrial sized can opener.
The magnet that doesn't do what magnets do to him. Yeah, we get it. I have a note about that later in this episode. I think it's jogging up my brain.
Well, I can't wait. I'm sure whatever it is, I'll talk down to you, and then you'll be right at the end of it.
We have another reference to the existence of other dark matter besides Nibbler's shit, where there is the Colombian dark matter that was invented by Juan Valdez. So
It wasn't necessarily invented by Juan Valdez. He didn't say that, right?
I thought he discovered it or invented it. That's why the
I don't
tanker
know.
was named after him.
I know the tanker was named after him. I don't remember.
Does anybody?
I'll take your word for it, whatever, because I really don't.
Yeah.
Do you remember Juan Valdez?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
That he's-
Coffee guy.
It was
Yeah.
and it was also a reference to the Exxon.
The Exxon
so,
Valdez, right? With 6,000 holes.
If only they had built it with 6001. When will they learn?
Beautiful. I like that it was. The professor's only comment was just that it was extremely controversial, and then they're like, "Why is it controversial?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "It's extremely controversial," and goes on again. Like that was beautiful. The professor, I think he plays on his seeming senility. Like I don't think all of his not getting it moments are actually true, and he just does that to keep people off guard.
Yeah, because that's how he takes advantage, and he realizes people. That's why he likes being old so much, because he can just do what he wants. He doesn't have to explain himself anymore.
Are you looking forward to getting that old?
150, 160 years old? Absolutely.
Or we'll even say just the current day equivalent, like when you get into your 80s and can just kind of fuck it. And
I already kind of live my life pretty much to that degree where I don't feel like I have to hold back all that often.
that's probably true.
Yeah.
You have comedian privilege.
I mean, he came over here not even wearing pants.
Well,
So-
this is a pants optional house. Just because you guys don't take advantage of that doesn't mean that you shouldn't expect other people to.
My legs are cold.
We have to turn the heater off because of the blower. It gets on the mic.
Just
I
put
feel
your
like
legs next to mine; they'll get sweaty.
even those professor lines and kind of just like this episode isn't like a like a great line heavy favorite
You don't
for
think
me.
so?
No, like
It's
Zoidberg-
entirely leak proof, unlike the professor.
There's some. One of my favorites was, and I almost missed it, was when they were loading the ship. Or Fry just comes out of the ship. He's like, "All right, the ship's loaded up with emergency jam." Like just like a
Yeah.
quick little.
Yeah.
But like, okay, Zoidberg had a lot of lines in this episode, and they're very Zoidbergish, very much in character, and they're funny, they're cute, or whatever. But it wasn't like I don't know, the highest level of like Zoidberg lines. Like he
What
had
are you
a lot
yapping
of
about?
They're very tied into the whole storyline and
Yeah.
his
because the
praise of
story was
whoever the
really
captain
good.
is, yeah.
Like this episode, and such a great thing about Futurama is it's like, all right, well, here's this story about an oil spill, but it's going to be on Pluto. It's going to be this. There's going to be penguins, and we're going to, it's like being able to do that, and it's just really well written, like fun. And
I love this episode.
yeah, everything with what happens, and then
Leela leaving Planet Express to be a protester, Fry being excited about possibly being the captain,
And not.
then Professor doing the awesome 180 of the captain. What makes a good captain is intuition and what was the other thing they said?
Oh shit.
and heart,
And heart.
and not having them, or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like, and a good captain can't have either of those
Yeah.
things.
That's why cold logical Bender is perfect for the
But-
job.
But then also like the whole penguin thing. Whenever I think of this episode, to me the whole episode is Bender, and it feels like that episode where Bender's in space, and that feels like that whole episode is like
floating through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that feels like the whole episode. And it's like, oh, that's like 4 minutes of it. It still is to me the main part of the episode when I think about it. But there's so much going on in this whole everything
'cause
with Leela's
everybody-
storyline.
Yeah, you got 3 pretty significant storylines, but Bender seems to dominate.
And there's like no A-B story. It's kind of, they're all just twisted
Intertwined.
the whole time. Yeah, it's really
And
good.
One of the things I do love is when Bender gets named the captain, he acts like he doesn't care, but then immediately gets into character. And also, he's got this overwhelming need to kind of tie things back to a time where he wasn't around, where he's like, we leave at 6 bells, and he takes out a bell and rings it. Like he gets into nautical speech, which they don't talk like that.
Do you think that was programmed into him, like deep code or something, or an optional module he could activate?
I see, like, when it comes to his obsession with like folk singing and just human culture where he wants to destroy all humans, but I think that's because he innately really loves humans, is like he's got this weird appreciation for all that stuff, and he's able to absorb all this information incredibly quick because he reads the whole manual to be a captain in a matter of seconds.
Like anytime there's a thing where he takes on a new persona, like when he's the king in the superhero one
Yeah.
or something, like he's
all into it, and he likes anything that is not just from Fry's time, but any time before too. Like
Well,
he likes doing things that make him.
When he's the
more
Egyptian,
human. Yeah.
But he
whatever.
also has the king switch inside, and then he might
Oh, yeah,
have
I
inside
forgot.
his magical chest cavity. There might be like a ship captain one.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure he has programs that he kind of like with the penguin thing.
Well,
That's
the
what
penguin or
happens
the
later.
human
It's
thing,
like,
yeah,
but it happens on accident, and he goes into
He
penguin
reboots and has that
mode.
mode. It was it was the way that the professor did it there. He was like, or should I say Captain Fry? No, I shouldn't. and it was just like the fake outs were great. And the insistence that Fry needed to have a nickname as the first mate.
Oh yeah, Wiggles.
Wiggles.
And that he hated it. I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but he should have just kind of sucked it up and went.
And it's actually still a promotion for Fry because he was just delivery boy,
Right.
And now he's first mate, and he doesn't even appreciate because he wanted to be captain
Yeah.
so bad.
Was there even a first mate?
And he didn't get
No,
to wear the
prior to that?
captain's
It was
jacket.
just Leela and the
Leela's
crew.
jacket? Yeah.
Well, this is my jacket. I've had it for 10 years.
Well, the fact that that Fry draws comic books about the Planet Express and like Zoidberg's all in. He says, "Oh,
Ooh,
is
the
there a new
ones. That
episode?"
was- yeah. I just like how excited he was that, and then you imagine that Fry is, writing these Fry Leela centric comics, and
That- well,
probably
those are
one
like
page
his-
and poorly drawn, like
These are like his fan fiction Rule
Yeah.
34 versions that get a little
A little saucy.
risque. Yeah.
And then when Leela meets up with the protesters and they're trying to do a peaceful protest where they're stopping the Planet Express ship as they're hooking up to the tanker.
Is it a peace ring?
Yeah, a peace ring around it, and then they just lift off. Another great fake out in this episode where they just lift off and then fly over them. And they're like, oh.
it was a great fake out, and it was really, I think, satisfying for a lot of sci-fi fans who every time there's like a space battle, it's like, oh, here's the Federation ships and the Klingons or whatever. And you're like, well, just go up and around it. Or you know what I mean? Like, you can't block,
Do you think that was the point? Or was it more like sort of poking fun at hippie protesters who do ineffectual
I think it can be
protesting?
I think it can be
You think
two
it hits
things.
both levels?
I do.
I think the whole episode was like that. And especially, like, not to jump too much to the end, or I don't even care, whatever. The whole, with the population control thing at the end, like, this episode really kind of took like a cold, larger zoned out view of environmentalism, because it's
it took
kind
the
of
piss out of
both and all
everybody.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Like,
and
from them going to being conservationists to
Not
hunters.
zoomed out, not zoned out.
Yeah, they definitely go do a nice another fake out, another 180, where it's like, oh, we have to protect the birds by murdering them.
yeah,
But it's true. There's a lot of,
Yeah.
I mean, that into just environmentalism and everything, all kinds of social issues. Like, sometimes you have to do these terrible things for, whatever. Like,
well, and that gets. I mean, it's before all of the social media activism and everything, but it's like that's the part that. It just, I mean, you see everything as being so polarized. It's like people forget that there's this thing called compromise that makes the world go round. And it's like there are clearly evil things or bad things, but good, clearly good things. But most of the time, it's a mixture altogether.
And it's also a nice reminder that activists were annoying even before the internet.
Oh yeah,
Like even before they were just spamming your feed on Twitter and Facebook, you still were like, I get what you're trying to do. I just don't. Just chill out about it a little bit.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite parts where that's very prevalent is when they're feeding the baby penguins with the puppet.
Yeah.
And they're using like this real crappy puppet. And then the guy's fingers just poke out. And then the birds start tearing his fingers apart. And he's like screaming in pain. And because Leela's so dialed into the animals, she's like, this is so adorable.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy is getting... He's being maimed and he's in so much pain, and that's how a lot of environmentalists and activists are, where they're like, oh, we have to protect the animals, humans.
yeah, and it just I just saw something come through the feed the other day. There's some group that it's politically charged stuff, and they're trying to actually like create rallies or call people to action, and they're just like, okay, everybody, cool it with the memes and the links because it's too much noise in the feed and people can't pay attention. It's just like it is the microcosm of it, where anytime you hit, there's like a saturation point where the more people get added into it, it just automatically turns to shit. Like it's like, we won't name any names of
You
pages.
mean the more
but like,
people get involved in the conflict or their
No, just-
comment on the conflict?
yeah,
Or,
it's.
like-
I mean, it goes back to the thing about oh god damn it, just the compromise thing. It's like by default, as more people with more opinions become a part of anything, it is no longer going to remain pure in purpose, because it's going to have to bend and bend and bend until it just fractures. And it's like
You want C- level corruption.
yeah, I mean we're like A++ AP credit corruption right now, and that's what gets me down.
Well, it's funny watching this episode and everyone here being around the same age where we remember the pre-internet world, or that the way the internet is now, and the actual pre like actual no internet world, and this episode being very timely for everything that's going on, environmental wise, and then just protester wise and all that. But like thinking back to being somebody watching this episode when it came out, when did this air? Like 2001, Tom?
Correct.
2001, Tom. That's the year. Where like I remember, being
good
somebody,
year.
and I still am to this person, for the most part, but like just somebody on my couch watching like whatever protest thing is going,
Yeah.
like regardless of what I thought about the issue and what side I was on, you look at protesters or you look at activists and go like, oh, settle down. But I mean, now I realize, as much as there's like a instinctual feeling to do that. Like I mean, I do understand. Like, well, you have to have that because somebody has to push a little too much. I mean, Chappelle, that first
Special?
the first collection or whatever, he says that, makes that joke, and he's like, take it from a black guy, slow down,
Yeah.
and like that's true too. But I mean, it's
Well,
it's not like there's an answer
never
for
enough
anything. I'm just saying, like,
for everybody. I mean,
I'm saying when I see like oh, I have to remember. Well, it's good that somebody's out there doing that because
you have
Because
to,
I'm not going to, right?
Well, you have to have somebody pushing way the fuck far out to get the middle to move closer to where it needs to be.
that's
Right.
I think that's just that
Yeah, you need the outliers. You need those the trailblazers.
that you can go, they look crazy, but let's distill out the core of their idea.
Right. And a lot of times you'll have those guys that are those trailblazers that are willing to push for that, but then you'll get the people that just want to attach themselves to that
Oh, yeah,
movement.
that's what-
And
yeah.
that's when it starts getting like, well, this person did it for pure reasons. You're doing it because you just want to argue, or you just want to be, you just need to feel important.
I know a
a lot
lot
of times
people like
that's what you see
that
in the media. That's the impression you get from like
Oh, yeah.
they
something.
attach themselves to causes to feel like. I know a couple people.
You know a ton of
that-
people like that.
Well,
So-
no, but there's a couple people in particular that like seem to, their entire reason for being is attaching themselves to tragedies or things that like literally have nothing to do with them, and it makes them feel important to be like out, blah blah blah. And it's like, well, hey, white lady, it's great that you feel that outraged, but it's.
But you lost the election. Go home, Hillary.
Yeah, not her specifically.
Oh, okay, not her, okay.
No,
yeah.
she's our guest
No,
next week.
and
Please
yeah,
don't.
Damn it.
and that's. Oh, I was thinking a little more closer to home.
No, I
Anyway,
can think of
boy,
some people around here too that I can.
I'm one of them. Like,
that
just
too.
so I don't sound like a hypocrite. Anybody like listening to this is like, well, what the fuck is Horgy talking about?
Horgy's talking about installing
I do that
Uber
too, but
back
at the
on
same
his phone
time,
when
I-
he's
yeah.
too drunk at the casino.
At the same time, I'm
What's wrong with Lyft?
kind of well,
The wait was too long,
Yeah.
Bill.
did I say that last week? Did I go through the?
Yeah,
All right.
It's a callback.
But I do that with everything, like just like not a sponge. What's something that picks up crap as it like rolls down? I don't know, like a snowball
A
or whatever.
Horchie.
Yeah, and then eats it, and doesn't learn his lesson. But no, I do that. I mean, anything that I see, I'm like, oh, I have to comment on this, and this is the biggest, most important thing going on right now. So I mean, just for to you guys here, and then anybody listening that's like, fucking, you do that all the time. I do.
Yeah,
Whatever.
somebody's got
Whatever celebrity dies
content.
tomorrow, or whatever
It's the
thing that
saddest
the
thing, yeah.
Yeah, should-
then
I
I'll-
mean-
Well, it's the Coney 2012 thing where I remember how viral that went, and everybody's like that was the benchmark for the armchair social media activism where nobody really did anything, and then it all fell apart. That guy that started the whole thing went crazy, brought a ton of awareness to it, but then what happened? Nothing.
Right.
He started jacking off in San Diego or something. And so like that was good. Like he did something that was new. Like he got people rallied behind a cause without any idea of how to actually make it a thing.
It's the lack of follow through that makes it so unsatisfying.
Well,
Where-
but that's also why things move at such a slow pace, because you had the people that introduce the idea and then you slowly bring it into a society, because a person is smart, people are dumb. And you bring stuff in too fast, people lose their mind.
Oh God, did you come up with that, or did you steal that
That
from
is
someone?
from Men in Black.
Is it? That's fucking brilliant. Who? Oh,
Tommy Lee Jones.
that's I bet he took it. From
No,
Al
it's
Gore.
true, and I'm also really guilty of it's social media outrage, and then the
Like, were you more upset that Chuck Berry died, or more upset that he peed on a bunch of ladies and secretly videotaped them in his bathroom?
that one I stayed out of. Like, I don't have a
Strong
for
feeling
all the
one way or
times
the other.
I also didn't act like I didn't already know that. Like that's like
Yeah.
the thing is like people are like, oh, I didn't know this thing. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, he was a great guitarist and he was also a pervert. Like you can be two things.
Yeah.
Most musicians are.
Yeah.
Like we're very used to this. In the
John
new-
Denver, sweet,
fucked Muppets.
yeah.
Are we still allowed to like the Cosby Show?
You're allowed to like the show.
Okay.
Well, that's- I mean,
it's,
and
hard, it's a little
that's-
harder to, but I mean, you can't not watch it and not go, this is
I mean, you could say that. Oh God, we have gotten so far off the fucking track.
well.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but it's like really anyone. I mean, everyone is flawed. So anyone famous is just a magnifying glass. And I think if you're given a lack of internal controls, so to speak, or entitlement, and the means to do it, you wind up just fucking following it. You're it if you don't have any sort of grounding. I mean, like you said, most musicians are messed up, but so are most comedians. Certainly, all politicians are.
Athletes,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
whatever.
most people are
just
that.
Yeah.
And so when you're living your life under a microscope, when you have the means to do it, which is what happens when you are a
And no one tells
celebrity,
you no.
and you can't. Yeah, people don't, or people cover for you.
Yeah.
and or look the other way. That's when you get into that situation where you're Cosby and you can do all the stuff that he did, and or you're Chuck Berry and you're beating on ladies and filming their shits. Like it's people. But now we're just getting into a time where you have to be incredibly accountable for that and really transparent with whatever kind of creep you are.
Yeah, but and I guess the thing that's more shocking about it is the ones who don't course correct, knowing, like Anthony Weiner, like it was just like 3 times he got, and it's like, well, what is it about this that is getting you off? Is it getting caught and going viral, or is it just sneaking around on your wife? Like, what's the deal?
Anybody's, I don't want to use the word perversion because like some people have things that aren't as don't have as many negative connotations, like
Whatever their indulgence is.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's a good one.
Fetishes.
Yeah, fetishes. Like you can't. I mean, why does he keep doing that? Well, that's his fetish. You know what I mean? Like you can't. I mean, you don't know. I mean, it's like if somebody was like, why do you keep doing this or whatever? But it's more acceptable. It's like, well, because I am. I mean, even if it's, I don't know. Because then I guess if it's not as
I mean,
negative,
personally, I like to rub permafrost on my junk because that's nature's long johns.
I prefer nature's pocket.
Just don't let anybody pick your pocket.
Put my nature's long johns in my nature's pocket. I
That's
think
a quote that like anybody ever says that they're cold. I always am like, well, put your hands in your buttocks.
it's nature's pocket. I think that even that line like picks apart some of the hippie stuff. Not even just and the environmentalist stuff, all of it. It's like
and don't clap because you're killing spores.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
And don't kick their butts because people's butts are living things too.
it's like at some
give
point you've
give
got
a
to
mold friendly thumbs up.
Yeah, hold your thumbs till the end of the speech.
Is but like my wife has gone through like 17 deodorants because she's like, well, I'm gonna get the aluminum is gonna give me Alzheimer's, and maybe it will in like 60 years. Maybe we know, maybe we don't, whatever. But then she's like, I'm going to try this natural one. Oh, I still stink. I'm going to try this natural one. It gives me a rash. I'm going to try this natural. It's like,
If people come
sometimes
up
you
to
just
your
have
wife and
fucking
start
pick your
smelling her on the
battles.
street, it's going to be your fault now.
You know what?
Well, that's his fetish.
Apparently,
Or
some
her
people
fault.
do that already.
Every
But
time
it's-
she changes deodorant, 1,000 bees die.
I know.
So tell her
I know.
that.
It's horrible. And she wants to have like a bee house and a bat house out in our backyard, and then she's still in there. Like you just have to pick
Or
your
a bee house
battles.
with bats in it when the bats bark at
The bats chew bees at you. That is the prelude to my favorite Simpsons line of all time is the bees are on the what now? And that is like
That's why I'm in charge of watching the bee.
Oh, no wonder Smithers made me the head bee guy.
right. It's like that whole thing of like, are they doing something? The they being a theoretical other, a theoretical other environmentalist or whatever cause person is like doing something because it's the right thing, or are they doing it to just be contrarian
For
about stuff and
self-indulgence,
create it? I mean, like the go-to thing
Or
is always
aggrandizement. So
like vegans are just such an easy target for that kind of thing. Vegans like drummers have a million jokes about them because it's kind of stereotypically true. Like, how do you know someone's a vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you about it.
right.
And that kind of stuff. Like it's just
Now, wait. Anybody here a vegan?
of course not.
No.
Okay, I figured because no one ever told me, but
Right.
we never talked about it either.
I have one friend who is.
I do CrossFit though.
and does not bring
there
it up.
it is.
It's a similar thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's just I get it to a point. Like it's great that you're being healthy, but I think in general, just people who proselytize about anything, whether it's veganism or drumming or CrossFit or religion or whatever. Like that just turns me off so quickly.
Because their big ugly face is as dumb as a butt.
Yeah.
But that's what Futurama does such a good job of, is exposing both sides of that. And you have the professor who is all about the profit, Leela, whose intentions are good, working with people whose intentions are supposed to be pure, but they're really not even that excited about everything that they're doing until they get to kill things, to preserve things.
Do you think that's true, though? Are those people perhaps the most pure of intention, where Leela's holding on this hardline, inflexible thing?
Yeah, I think their intentions are more pure than Leela's, because Leela wouldn't have any problem going to fight other sentient beings like her, because she's always very violent. But when it comes to animals,
wouldn't you be if you grew up an orphan?
It's kind of like the way that the way we were talking about the outrage over this famous person you admire did this, and like if somebody I don't like, some famous person I don't like, does something, I'm so quick to be like, look what they did, and then as soon as somebody's like, well, John Lennon beat his wife, I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What was it? Have you ever heard the White Album?
Well, have you heard her sing? Because I can't really get all that upset about it.
But like that's I even though like I try to be conscious that I absolutely ignore like when it's somebody
I was talking to my girlfriend about this, where she was going on about Ariana Grande. She's like, she looked at donuts and she just
Who?
Like, this Ariana Grande, who's like a pop singer.
Not a drink at Starbucks?
No.
Okay.
No.
Wow, that's
Sucking all the air out of the room.
So he's right to have his arms crossed.
I know.
That way.
I know. I'm old. I can do that.
She's like, yeah, I don't like the way she's like such a diva. Like she hasn't earned it. I'm like, no one earns that right to treat people like shit.
No.
Like you're just kind of a shitty person, and so like there's no like album sales. Like once you reach this point, you get to be shitty to everybody. You just go, because you can sell a lot of albums and still be nice to people that work for you.
Right.
Like that, you're allowed to do that.
But if there was a continuum, you like one of those thermometers of album sales on the wall, like what levels
chart.
would there be? It'd be like Scott Stapp, Vince Neil,
well, she was
Candlebox.
She was comparing her to Mariah Carey. She's like, Mariah Carey. I'm like, yeah, but nobody likes Mariah Carey either. Like everybody gets mad at her for being a bitch, because then she keeps acting like she's still this amazing thing, and she's 15, 20 years past her prime. So then everybody like gets all on her for that, and it's like that's why I don't need to know too much about my heroes, because then I stop liking them as much.
The more you,
no matter who
they
it is.
become less of a character and more of a person. You're like, no, I don't want him to be a person. I want him to be just this album, or
like, do you want like people are like, oh, I'd love to hang out with whoever, like Eddie Vedder. Like say that, like that's your guy. Like I love Pearl Jam. I want to hang out with Eddie Vedder. I don't. I can just listen to his songs. That's what I want. I don't want to hang out with him. Or like Bill Murray.
I don't want to find out that he like chews loud or something and be like,
right. Or like yells at the TV when you're watching Walking Dead. Like he's like, don't go in there kind of guy. Like
okay, so
hey, what happened to your Walking Dead podcast?
The guy that I do it with got a job, so he had to stop doing it.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, I was tired, and like I was always busy, and so I couldn't do it. But then he got a job that he can't actually reveal yet.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
that's
a good thing, right?
Oh, it's a really good
awesome.
thing. Yeah,
it's working for the Russians.
He's got to move
in the
to
State Department.
He's moving to Atlanta. So.
He's gonna be a zombie on Walking Dead.
I asked him if that was it, and they said that's not it. But it's a.
He's gonna be a zombie on that Donald Glover show. That's what they're doing next season.
Have you along those lines? Like I definitely made more of an effort to do that kind of thing when I was younger. Like when I was in college, the main like 1,500 person venue in Columbus was the Newport, and I lived on High Street like 2 blocks away. So if there was a show, you'd go down and see the show. The tour bus is always parked out back, and you could just go out and kind of wait for them to do the thing and just like wait for people to come out or whatever. So I definitely do that. Number one,
and I
it's
did
super
it too,
convenient. But like, I feel less inclined to do so now. But at the same time, I've actually met, in some cases, like played with or played bills with, like musical heroes, like people that are just like, these are the fucking guys that blow my goddamn mind. And I've met a lot of them. And mostly they've been pretty cool. And it's not like I don't want to, go hang out at the hotel with them or whatever while they get baked and eat pizza, just because it's not like, that's not a great story necessarily. And it probably wouldn't be all that fun. But I don't feel an urge to do it. But when it happens and it is
organic
and pleasant, like that's a really cool thing to have happen.
And that's one thing is like doing stand-up, I've gotten to hang out with and be around a lot of comics that I really respect and I listen to a ton and even go get meals and pick their brain and stuff like that. But I'm also not going to be the guy that's like getting their number and be like, oh, remember, like, hey, it's Bill, what's going on? Yeah, like, and because I don't want to overstep either. So it's, there's a balance to it. Like I'm not saying you can't ever meet someone or get to know something about people that you admire, but it's not a priority as much as it was like when you're younger.
Yeah.
Because there's one aspect you're trying to see what makes them tick and learn how to like apply that to your own life and in your own art. And then you also realize there's a part of you doing that just so that you can fit into the scene and know more about someone than anyone else and have
show,
a story.
show the selfie in the picture.
It's
and
kind of like if you have a favorite movie, like you want to be friends with that movie. You really don't want to be friends with the person that made it. Like that's
well, it's a
not the
part of
thing that-
internet culture.
I mean,
that,
you do. You want to. That's how you feel. But like,
my favorite movie is Chinatown, so I kind of want to be.
I get.
I want to be best friends with Roman Polanski.
There's another person with sort of a checkered
Statute
past,
of limitations
isn't
is almost up.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you'd be comfortable answering
anybody
this.
want a beer?
Any
or
I'm okay.
any huge disappointments on that regard? Like, is there anybody that was such a dick you don't even have a problem calling out and saying, I met or worked with this person and fuck them? Or anybody who was surprising in how nice and generous they were? Like to a point where it was just like overly amazed at
It's more the generosity.
yeah.
Where people that just like remember you or remember coming through, that happens more often. Like Dave Attell is the one that comes to mind where Dave Attell could have said 0 to me and I would have been just fine with that. But the guy was more, the few times he's come through here, he's been incredibly accommodating and friendly and willing to just kind of sit around and shoot the shit with me. And So
I've heard that
it's
from
good.
other comics too, that like in general, he's just a really open and nice.
I saw him
guy
on
to deal
mushrooms
with.
at the Lakewood Civic Auditorium like 15 years ago.
He was on
I
mushrooms
feel
or
like
you
I
were?
met him. I was.
Or maybe you both were.
Hey,
Who
I don't
knows?
know.
It's oh shit. See, I had another side to that. There was the people that were surprising or not, but then it's what you were saying about wanting to be like best friends with a movie or something. Like did you ever spend any time on like message boards, like pre-Facebook for bands or movies or whatever? Like
The band Homegrown out of Southern California, I would go to their message board basically on a daily basis when I was like junior, senior in high school. And we talk about all the like pop punk bands in that area when they're going to go on tour, who's going to make it on Warped Tour that year, what, made this band that sounds exactly like this band better than the other one.
and it
I got Homegrown's autograph one time at Warped Tour.
almost without fail though, it becomes this like pissing contest with the people on the like. Someone knows more. Someone has more bootlegs. So like it's this kind and like that kind of stuff. Just I ain't like
It's exhausting.
yeah. I used to try and participate in it, and then it's just like I can't focus all this. And I actually just joined a group for another band that I really like. It was like a Facebook thing, and the volume of posts that come through that thing, and like these are like 50-year-old people that are just like, here's my 17 bootlegs and the live concerts from all these things. I'm like, dude, like I can't even have enough time to listen to one of their records all the way through. Like, how are you consuming this much media to the point that you can have an actual opinion about it? It just freaks me out.
And that's one of the things that you kind of have to grapple with when you are. Do you want to create content or do you want to consume content?
Right.
And if you're gonna, you got to have a balance, because if you just are constantly creating, the well's gonna run dry. And if you're just consuming, you're gonna become one of those people that is just insufferable because
You can only reference.
Yeah.
that and you act like you know so much.
It's,
One time, speaking of meeting celebrities, met Chili Willy the penguin,
and he was on the sign when they were
but
landing.
he was frozen through and through. Did you? So you notice the sign?
I saw the sign that
Yeah,
said
he was
"Free
cold.
Chili Willy." It's there was some stuff on the ship still with the crew, the revised crew with Bender as the captain. So the captain's table was the repurposed ping pong table, which made me wonder, like, was there no captain's table when Leela was the captain? Like, is that just this anachronism that Bender demanded to have once he activated his captain's chip?
Well, some episodes they had like food, like they would eat on the
Right.
ship, like the Poplars episode, the when they go underwater.
Popcorn.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, they have to have some food, so it's just not as big of an ordeal. And because once Bender becomes the captain, I think it's like he's going to be a more traditional captain.
I like. Did you already say? Did you say the ping pong table? When
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I would assume that everyone at this table has seen Cabin Boy.
Yeah,
So
been a long
like
time.
Zoidberg almost reminds me of Andy Richter's like Kenny, the sort of slow, just general servant on the thing. Like he's just standing around like, okay, what do you need me to do? And then just like sucking the spaghetti off the floor and stuff. Like
I love how Zoidberg was so just immediately latching on to whoever was in charge, and just that was.
it only has 2 footprints on it, 3 that just goes to town. But that made me think like later on in the episode when they're having the culling problem, like Zoidberg's eating some penguins.
Right.
Actually, that's funny. You mentioned that in the episode. I think it's the popular episodes. He says they're more delicious than unguarded penguin eggs, or a nest of unguarded.
Yeah,
Tom, did I get that
so
right?
like-
I know you wrote that down too.
Yeah, it's from the Popular episode.
And then you also have the fact that Bender crashes the ship or breaches the hull, spills oil all over the place, or dark matter, and then gets sentenced within moments. Gets 5 hours.
Community service.
Yeah, that was great.
Despite being a decorated captain with his medals that were bottle caps and pepperoni.
That was another mislead too. The hyper chicken lawyer.
That was fantastic.
Oh, the news. My favorite part is the news story, and they add the sound effects to lighten
Oh,
the
that's
tragedy.
why. Thank you. That's right.
Tragic.
Yeah.
I wrote down sound effect, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
How long does it take Bender to get a rust beard when he stops drinking?
I don't know.
It's pretty quick because I mean it's about as long as it would take a alcoholic to get drunk.
How long was that flight?
Exactly.
Well, that's what I'm wondering because, from going from Earth to Pluto shouldn't take all that
you're
long.
right. Yeah.
And before, like the only time they've referenced the rust beard before was when he quit drinking altogether. But then I thought he could maintain it with mineral oil.
No, it was when
at least
when
once
him
it's
and
in.
Fry were roommates.
Yeah.
So that's when he got the rust beard the first time, because when he was just drinking mineral oil, he
Still functioned.
still functioned. Yeah.
I think I asked a bunch of
Well,
questions about
they
that
made a
back
reference,
then.
and I know this is you would probably think of this as a cop out, but the other episode a few ago where Fry said, like, you've had too much alcohol or not enough. I can never remember how it works with you.
Yeah.
But
and the news story, the headline was tanked. And like that was, I had to be referencing back against the actual Exxon Valdez because the driver or the pilot of that ship, or the captain, I guess, was wasted. And that's why they wrecked in Alaska.
It in fact was actually referencing the Titanic, Pete.
I don't think that.
No, I'm kidding.
No,
it's
I-
the yes. The
That-
Exxon
that-
Valdez.
there goes Tom
Well,
kidding
in-
around again.
in
Wasn't it
19
Exxon Valdez, not Valdez?
Yes, it's
Okay.
Valdez.
I was,
It's spelled Valdez. So
Right.
pick a long or a short.
well, I'm just going by how everybody pronounced it when it was happening. Like,
Okay.
I mean, it's fine. Whatever. Who cares?
I just want you to be wrong.
It
Exxon
happens.
Valdez that they make fun of on Futurama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like if you were the captain of a transoceanic tanker, you could probably spend about 75% of your time at the hull or at the steering wheel like totally wasted because you're on a giant ship. You're in the middle of the ocean.
Right, but
They've got computers steering it and doing all the navigation.
not back then.
20 years ago?
I didn't think they.
Totally.
I mean, they had that, but obviously you can't be that drunk, or else once you get to shore,
Well, you got to sober up. I mean, of the 75% that you're drunk, yeah.
But how good are you at when you get that drunk at timing out when you're going to be sober again?
If you're a professional,
Well, he's clearly not a professional. How much can you drink and captain is what the question is.
I'm going to find out.
I don't know.
Denzel made that movie about it.
It's getting to the point where it's going to be as much as you want because the EPA is going to go away.
And all the cars will be robot drivers, so it won't matter.
And the only way we'll be able to have penguins is by sending them to Pluto.
That's what I was wondering about. How did all the penguins get on Pluto? And has Pluto undergone like global warming and stuff too to make it actually habitable by birds and people?
I can't remember, and I don't remember if it was a full explanation, but Leela, it might have just been like a half a line where she's like, ever since they blah, 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 the penguins to Pluto or something. Like,
Yeah,
anybody,
they mentioned
Do they
it.
say that?
Yeah, they gave an explanation. I don't remember what it was. I'm sure it was cute and concise.
Probably. I mean, it's a really dense episode, so I could totally miss it.
Yeah,
taking
no,
notes about others.
yeah. There's a few things you guys have brought up that I'm like, oh, is that in this episode? Oh, that's right, I just watched it. But there's so much going on and it's so fast.
But
like,
despite his sentence being only 5 hours, Bender's still like, fuck this, and sneaks out as soon as he can by putting on a tuxedo.
And he gets away with it when the robot cop and the human cop
Are just embracing.
when they're just talking
That's why the
about.
chief says no hugging.
And I love that he was not cleaning the black parts off.
I mean, how would you know, right?
I also like that he was squeezing the oil out of them for himself.
Like wringing it out.
Like
Yeah.
wringing it out.
Are they black with white feathers or white with black feathers? Baby, it doesn't matter.
That's why she says no hugging. That is
It's
phenomenal.
I love their relationship because I feel this might be the first one that hints at that, and I don't even know what it's hinting at exactly, but just like those two characters, and as the series goes on, like they're just
around.
sometimes they're just super buddies. Sometimes you're like, oh, maybe it's going like in this other direction where they're together, and like I like those two characters.
Actually, no, Zoidberg was eating the eggs because they sent Fry and Zoidberg back inside the ship.
Yeah, and this one,
They're doing an unsatisfactory job in eating too many penguin eggs. And then Fry is just like, well, you ate most of them. So they were just having some kind of contest. But like, you'd think that Zoidberg would just be after the birds,
Leela
too.
calls them Kong donkeys.
Yes, because they're playing video games. But that was a great twist of the phrase, too. That should get said more often.
Kong donkeys.
Kong donkeys.
We could probably make that a thing.
We can try.
Hashtag Kong donkeys.
You have the biggest media platform.
I'll
you start
do what I
calling-
can.
You've got like a Baba Booey character on the show, right?
We can. Yeah, we got the pound cake. We can.
There you
I
go.
Can start calling him a Kong donkey.
Okay.
I don't know if he's black. Is that going to come across racist?
I was just gonna
Yeah,
say,
that might-
Maybe
just that like the pronunciation of those hard K's is just like sounds racist. I like that the penguin mode is tasks are 1, acquire your food, then frolic. Because penguins frolic.
You full of fish?
Not entirely.
I think the penguins are so cute in this episode.
Yeah, me too.
When they're not pecking apart people.
when
and they're-
Lila's
And
cleaning-
even then, still pretty cute.
yeah.
And that's like that. It was so overpopulated, but there's about 40 that got eaten by a killer whale.
Yeah, they didn't
Then
really,
that was it.
like-
it wasn't that bad.
It's well, that's yeah. I mean, again, we tie back to the environmentalist thing, but like that's part of it. Like animals eat other animals,
that's
and there's predators, and there is a food chain, and we just interfere the fuck all over it as people.
It's hard to like remain conscious of like just not with environmentalism, but everything in general. Where like every time when you're watching, when you're watching a nature show and you're like, it's the meerkat one, and you're like, oh, I love these meerkats, they're the best, and they're your their characters,
and they transmit syphilis all over the place. And you're
whatever.
like, you can't.
If they, and I don't know anything about meerkats, if they have to like steal eggs from like something to like eat to feed their, you're like, who cares, whatever. But if you're watching the show about like the snakes that they stole the eggs
They're
from, you'd be like,
getting
what the fuck, man?
attacked by the meerkat.
And then a lion eats this thing, and you're like, well, yeah, but if the show is about the lion, I mean, and that's kind of life in general too. Is every time somebody
there's
gets
coyotes
fucked over,
all over Lakewood now. Like there's increasing coyote attacks, and people are leaving their dogs in their backyards, and they're getting attacked by coyotes. It's like, you're picking your battles. Like if you don't want your dog to get eaten, take them off
like,
the lead.
You're like,
dummy.
oh, the coyotes are evil, But I mean, if you're watching like a
But they're
nature
not.
documentary
They're just
about
getting
coyotes, you're
choked
like,
out
well,
of their
they're
natural
just,
habitat.
Yep.
Next, it'll be bears, and Eric Kaplan will be the happiest man alive when we get bears strolling through our neighborhoods here.
Not me. I'm going to start the bear patrol.
We're here. We're queer. We don't want any more bears. Which is, I mean, that turns in on itself in a couple different ways. But again, like, I guess you can't get away from the Simpsons references. They are intertwined in their DNA.
I think in life you can't get away from Simpsons references.
Yeah,
the show's been on for 30 years. Like,
I generally call back to Simpsons at least once a day.
yeah,
easily.
if there's anything that even comes close,
But even with it, 30 years of references, I still only include
like 4 through 10 or whatever.
there's like a at best 8-year gap.
Yeah, like 12 seasons. Or
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
So another one of Bender's seemingly endless functions is his immersion blender inside his mouth.
You can
Just
come on,
throw
you
the
can let that
fish
one
in.
go. You can come on.
I still don't understand how sometimes he's got teeth that open and he's got a mouth, and sometimes it's just like an LED screen that like moves around. Like, which is
both.
it?
It's both. Like,
How can it
an
be
LED?
both?
Can you not have a screen close?
It's
like,
the
have
future.
you seen like? If
I don't accept that answer. I need.
what if you were at a game and the jumbotron like opened up a section and a thing came out? Would you be like, oh my god, it's a witch? I mean,
I'd believe it if Prince was still alive because that's the kind of shenanigans he'd try and pull off. But now, I don't think.
What if it opened up and he came out?
Then
Right now,
not a fake Prince, a real Prince.
Would you be surprised if you found out Prince was still alive? I wouldn't.
No, not at all.
But there's already technology that is like the rollable screen,
Yeah,
and there's like retractable. Like that technology isn't completely insane.
but
Why is it-
miniaturized like that, I don't know.
Well, that's
just
it's incredible. Like look at the advancement there's been in like like a memory card or like a thumb drive in the past since this episode came out 17 years ago. You could fit 256 megabytes onto a zip drive.
right.
And now you can
a
have-
zip drive was 100.
Oh yeah, there you go. So that's how long ago, and yeah, so the technology that is so magical to you could all
that's the best way to put it. Yeah, it's 1,000 years in the future.
Yeah,
I
he's
always
a
like-
robot from 1,000 years in the future.
My reason. So,
Yeah,
that it's a fucking cartoon.
I know. I mean, and like
and the
that's that
jokes
thing
matter,
where
and the jokes matter more than the technology. So if they need, okay, can Bender do this? Fuck yeah,
you
he
can now.
But then it's also great that there's times when like when he's the Super King, he's got extendo arm, but he has to release it for it to retract. Like
Yeah, like
That's amazing.
last week he turned into a train car all of a sudden, with a self-stabilizing thing, even though he's on 2 wheels. Like, it's like in Johnny Mnemonic, the amount of memory that Keanu Reeves had stored in his brain was 512 kilobytes. And he was exceeding that, and it was going to kill him. And it's like, oh my God, like that's ridiculous.
it's like one Instagram post.
Yeah, no, like not even. Like, that's less, that's,
I wish
it's
you
just
could
silly.
live in my simple world where when you just describe Johnny Mnemonic's whatever, I have no idea. I mean, I know the movie, but I
Yeah.
don't know what that means. I don't know how much Google Bytes are in a thing or whatever. And I'm just like, when Bender does a thing, or if you were like, hey, did you know that
Magic, got it.
apples can turn? Yeah, exactly. So apparently dark matter works as, I didn't write down the comparisons, but dark matter works as an aphrodisiac to penguin
Penguin
sex.
estrogen and Penguin Viagra.
All wrapped up in one.
And what's the third one?
There's something else.
It was
I don't know.
Penguin Spanish Fly.
Oh yeah, Spanish Fly.
So I thought I saw Scruffy in with the once the protesters decide that now it's time to kill penguins. I thought Scruffy was one of them for a second. Like he might have been in the first group, but then it's like he pulled out. Did I just miss?
I didn't notice
someone?
that, but I mean, maybe.
There was a similar looking guy later on, but I thought he was in the initial group. And just the ability for Free Waterfall Senior to like just flip so quickly. It's really, I mean, really, that's the way to survive is being able to adapt.
What do you mean for free water?
Yeah, to just all of a sudden turn around and say,
Well, it's not
now
about
we gotta
surviving.
kill
It's
him.
he's trying to do the actual job of protecting the environment, and that's
With
like
nature's permafrost
and
or nature's long johns.
even though I don't, for somebody that kills stuff all the time for the sake of, sometimes it's not for that kind of overpopulation like deer. Even though we do a deer service, we're not killing them or whatever. Every once in a while, somebody be like, "Oh, do you have a problem like killing all those bugs all the time?" Or rats or whatever. They're pests.
They're vermin. Absolutely
they're
not.
We don't like destroy honeybees or whatever.
Not directly.
No, not indirectly. We don't spray flowers. We don't. We killed yellow jackets. They're not pollinators. They're just,
yellow jackets are the fucking worst.
and wasps. They don't do anything.
So are they.
He is listed as Scruffy is listed in this episode. So
As one of
it very
the.
likely
So all of a
could be.
siden he shows up as soon as the tide turns.
As soon as you can kill something.
So he was one of the guys that got all excited about.
Yeah.
I did like how what the fuck. Leela's like, you can't. It can't be fun in any way, or if it's fun anyway, it's not environmental.
What else
And
do you
then,
feel that is true about? I think that could be said about a lot of things.
Yeah, in a big way.
Yeah.
Like if it's fun, it's not environmentalism, or if
If
it's fun,
or
it's not healthy.
Educational,
Yeah.
healthy.
It's not
Yeah.
educational. It's not
Church.
religion. Yeah,
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, not. It's not. It's not good. Towards God or whatever.
But I had one, and I lost it.
Respectful. I don't know. Like
Civility.
anything.
Protest. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not really a protest if you're having a good time.
Going down
Yeah.
to,
No. Yeah.
to pick up romantic partners or something.
Right.
But that's a different thing. That's like
Is it?
like a subversive, like okay, I don't know. Well, now that's a different area where it's like, I don't. No, maybe it's the same thing. I don't know. I just feel like maybe it depends on the protest. No,
I mean, it was a pretty.
I guess
it was
no, I
a
guess
thought
you're
that
right.
got
Like, well,
expressed a lot. I think Curtis Cook made a joke about that on Twitter that was pretty dead on.
Do you remember
Just about like during the women's
gist of it?
protests that were happening back in January around the. I think he's like, hey, do you want to go down and support the feminists? And he like sometimes he'll tweet stuff where it's like a conversation and it's like the other guy's like, are there going to be girls there? Yeah, are they hot? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I like there's definitely that thing, and I've seen that forever. Because when I was at college the first time, it was Ohio State in the 90s, and it was like ground zero women's studies sort of stuff, which like it was fine, whatever. I mean, I actually spent a lot of time taking gender classes in sociology because it was really interesting, and that was a while back, so it's certainly come a long way since then. And just getting those seeds planted.
I can tell this is getting educational. Because
Right,
It's not
it's
as fun.
just not as fun. But like you'd have the people that were super vehement about what they were protesting, and then just like the hangers on are just like, yeah, I'm gonna get laid just hanging out around this stuff. If I just show up enough, it'll all work out. And that sort of thing is another off-putting thing about the whole endeavor.
Yeah, I think and you're always going to have that. Like we mentioned earlier, like there's the trailblazers that are moving the agenda forward, and then there's the people that just want to be a part of something that, yeah, they want that agenda to be moved forward, but they also use it as like a social gathering.
Yeah.
And then there's the people that are always there to be like, wait a second, are you here for this cause?
Think of the children!
And then also picking up girls, or also doing this, or just getting something else out of this,
Yeah, use it for everything.
And I like
upskirt pics.
I can see it from all angles. Like there's part of me that, or maybe it's just I just feel guilty in general most of the time for enjoying anything, but like that if I did do something like I'm going to do this cause, and then like went to this protest or went to like a meeting for something and was like, oh, and I'm also here for this because like there's going to be donuts or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's a nice day out, so I'm going to go down to the protest.
When Fry and Zoidberg took off with the ship, they got lost somehow.
I thought you picked up sunglasses.
Getting ready to deal with it.
But was the thing that caught them? It looked like a giant space clown squid or something. Like there was something going on. It was like, what the fuck is that
missed
thing?
That.
Like and it was just for a second. Like clearly they got out because they made their way back.
It was
just
just
like, where
Fry
the fuck
being the
did that come
captain and
from?
like
failing miserably.
I think that was a nod to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it was like multicolored and
Well, it was a space squid.
Yeah.
Or a space octopus.
it was a squid.
A space-topus.
It had like the penis-y head. It was a squid.
Yeah.
And then
Pete knows his penis-y head.
I've seen a lot of pictures.
Yeah. His name's Peter.
Exactly. I'm
Well versed.
well versed for many years.
I always like when I'm on because I know they have to be more difficult episodes to edit.
Tom's not gonna edit at
I've
all.
been
I
asleep.
stopped listening, but then I heard edit. Sorry.
Yeah, he hasn't taken a note in 17
I was standing
minutes.
still because it was my only chance.
All the dialogue between Bender and the Penguins, like that, for example,
That's
Pup
Pup
and
Talk.
Talk. Or when he comes back online and they show the kind of Terminator screen again.
Yeah.
And it's a human mode, and it was what was it? Number one, Ben. Number two, Cheese It.
Yeah.
Like just and this is getting more into like this episode was a good example of for all the times that Tom and I are like, yeah, Bender, I don't know. I realized. Bill, we've said a couple times, or a bunch of times on the show that Tom and I aren't big Bender fans, and a lot of guests we have are, and I think in general a lot of Futurama fans are.
And we've had a lot of hate mail. About
Yeah.
We've had like threats of bodily harm because we do not like Bender.
And I've realized that like even though I did watch like maybe half of the show when it was airing like originally. And then since then, with cable and then later with DVDs and Netflix and stuff, I think of the whole show not in like a chronological order, just this one thing, like Futurama, blah, and then all the episodes. And watching it in order and like picking it apart, I'm like, oh, he kind of started off as this one-note character, and that's kind of how I felt about him. And he, I think, becomes a better character. And this is a good Bender episode.
I think that's how people think about the three of us too. There's been maybe some character development over the course of these last 37 episodes.
Oh, I thought you meant in life. I thought you meant like our friends and loved ones.
No, they all hate
that
us.
Horchie guy starting to grow on me.
Did they all die?
They're just pretending. They don't want to talk to any of us anymore.
Sorry.
But so like the Penguins then start attacking the protesters en masse. There's tons and tons and tons of them. But then they all slide into that killer whale's mouth. So not only did the Penguins get moved to Pluto, also the orca whale. So I assume there was
And
more
there were
of them.
fish too. Like they
there's an ecosystem.
There is an ecosystem there because there had to be, and it has to be warm enough that water can be liquid.
Right.
So,
Which I mean, didn't they say that there may be liquid on Pluto? They did those flyby pics like a year ago, and were surprised at how not barren it was.
No,
There was
I saw
something
the
going
pictures.
on.
I
I
didn't
thought-
know that they.
People stop caring about it because it's not a planet.
Well, that's because you're sizist
that was
and you don't like dwarfs.
a dwarf planet.
Yeah, they
Yes.
moved it back to Dwarf
Still got
Planet.
planet.
But it underlines
That's
that
like saying a dwarf human isn't a human.
exactly.
It's a dwarf planet. It's still got the word planet in it.
Yeah, it's still bigger than your backyard for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger than the moon. The moon's not even a dwarf planet. It's just a stupid moon. There's planets that got moons even bigger than that moon that are still smaller than Pluto.
People are always telling me I'm a heavenly body.
Uranus.
It's
What people?
the ones that he talks to in his head and the ghost of
The
his dad that lives in
Plutonians.
his house.
You don't know him.
It's ultimately when all the penguins get eaten by the whale, it's really the underlying thing with all of it. Like I think we should protect the environment, but we aren't protecting the environment to save the planet. We need to protect it to save us.
Right.
Because we'll all die and the planet's
Like
going to be
Bender's
fine.
line at the beginning of the show where he's like, Leo's like, oh, the Earth, and he's like, who cares? We got plenty of them, or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah.
Where like
It's not like
funny
it's the only one.
It's not like, where
Yeah.
it's funny because that's the line now is like, but like for them, it's like, well, whatever. There's plenty of
Yeah,
other
and
planets.
I mean, I think, it probably got expressed most angrily and famously. I think it was a George Carlin bit where he's like, people talking about saving the planet. He's like, the planet doesn't need saving. Like the planet's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. It's just we're going to kill ourselves and everything else that's living on it, and it will regenerate and go. Like the planet will be here until the sun explodes and engulfs everything in flames.
Yeah, it's just a matter of what life on it survives through all the bullshit.
Right, and like.
Worst case scenario, there'll probably still be some bacteria or whatever.
I'd like it to last at least until like 2090 because by then my daughter will probably be done living.
Oh, by then you'll have grandkids though, so you'll be.
I won't be around, and I mean,
You'll be
You're
around
hoping
for the
you're around for your
grandkids.
first grandkid, like your
I'm not, like,
grandkids.
look, maybe she doesn't want to have kids, and I'd support that. I didn't want to, and here we are.
Life is.
I came around, but it was not. It was.
I'd hope so.
It was a surprise originally.
Life finds a way.
Let's just say that it's medically impossible for it to happen again. So we're in good hands now.
Life is hilariously cruel.
It really is.
Was that the line? I don't know if I wrote
Yes.
that. Oh yeah, life is hilariously cruel. That was a good summation of kind of that whole, what we were saying. Like, was that right after the whales ate the penguins or whatever? Or
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's actually that moment when that happens. Like the talking about overpopulation before and trying to control it. Like everything that happens, like it just
when they take
it's
off
like-
at the
like
end of
this
the episode, is Leela the
hilariously
captain
cool.
again, or does that not
Yes.
get resolved? I don't remember them flying away.
No, I don't. They don't think they ever show it. Oh no, the joke is that it's like, oh, bring my my toboggan can come too or whatever.
Oh
'cause
yeah.
Fry is still technically
Yeah.
captain, but I guarantee once Leela got on the ship, she just took back over and Fry was okay with that.
that was another good mislead. The toboggan.
Yeah. And then the end with the penguins picking up the rifles.
A few episodes ago, there was something. I don't know if it was one of the Santa ones where they did use Bender as a toboggan, or somebody did, and I thought that's what was going to happen, but it was later. It was this one. Do you remember that?
Was it toboggan or was it the train?
or a sled? Or no, it was a snow situation.
Oh,
Where they,
In the
like,
Christmas
rode-
episode, there is one where like they're on an actual toboggan and they're sitting still before their explosion.
and then the explosion,
like-
Fry goes faster, but they haven't moved yet.
Yeah.
and that's I think that's what it was. I was like, oh, this is
When
where they're
they
going to
were
ride
on-
on Fry or
yeah.
something.
Well, they
like
were
that.
on Neptune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've been on Mars. They've been on Neptune.
They've been on Mercury.
They've been on Mercury.
Hmm.
They've been on Pluto now. Do they hit all the planets in the solar system throughout the course of the series?
No, because I don't think they end up going to.
It's like Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. Well, Fry took Michelle on a picnic on Saturn's rings. So it's really just Jupiter.
You don't know
and-
that it's Saturn's rings. And it was a deleted scene.
Was it?
It was a deleted scene, and it was just planetary rings. But we could say it's Jupiter.
That's,
Or
Jupiter doesn't have rings, though.
I mean, Saturn.
All kinds of science
Wait,
lessons.
did you
today,
say
right?
Jupiter doesn't have rings?
I don't think so.
No, it is that big
I
eye.
think it does. No, wait, is it?
Jupiter.
What's the other one? There's the two,
Jupiter
right? It's
and
Saturn,
Neptune
and there's the
and
other one that has
Uranus
the
all
little
do,
it's three.
too.
Fuck,
And one of them's
My
like vertical
very
instead of
eager
horizontal.
mother just
This is one of those
served
not
us
fun things we were talking about
9
before, because now I'm starting to learn.
pizzas.
Not anymore. Because Pluto's not a planet; it's a dwarf planet.
That's a
You
planet.
have to
It's a
you have to
planet.
go back, but you still. I mean, is that still involved in the thing?
I just
Because
paused.
we know what it is. As long as we still have to talk about it, it's still a planet to me.
If you put the word mini in front of something like,
Mini muffin,
it's still a muffin.
micro
It's
machine.
not like, oh, that's a crouton now. No, it's still, it's a
Well,
muffin.
I wouldn't. I don't think I would call a muffin a crouton unless it was
Or,
horribly
I don't
stale.
know, a crumb,
No, no,
whatever.
no.
Cake bite. I might call it a cake bite.
No, but like an M&M and the mini M&Ms are still M&Ms. They're just smaller. Earth would technically be a dwarf planet in comparison to the size of Jupiter.
That is true, but we are in an Earth-centric solar system.
Right. So I said that if Pluto is a planet and it's a dwarf planet, it still has the word planet in it. Just like we talked about 10 minutes ago, and nothing's changed.
I don't remember.
I'm going to call the scientist we have on retainer real quick and find out about this.
Get John Kelman on the phone, please. He'll tell us something.
Not to get all.
But only if I'm right.
Not to get all 8th grade stoner, but like if we weren't here, they would just be there anyways. Nobody would call them anything,
Well,
and it wouldn't matter.
what about the people that certainly live on those exoplanets that they just found?
What about the people that live inside the hollow moon, or
The moon
or
isn't
hiding
hollow.
underneath the flat Earth?
The moon isn't hollow and the Earth isn't flat. The Earth is hollow, though, right, Tom?
Yes, and the moon is the same size as
If something
the sun
is full,
and they're
of,
both made of spare ribs.
if something is full of lizard people, is it still hollow? I mean, it's full of
Well, figuratively, all of Congress is hollow and that they don't have souls, but that's because they're lizard people.
It's beautiful inside the hollow Earth.
It's like Earth without any people on it, except for the people who live inside the hollow Earth.
Except the penguins, they lay 6 eggs every 15 minutes.
Is
Even
that
the males
is
are-
that a real fact?
No, that's what
That's
happened
what
when they
happened
get.
when they got.
Oh, when
Dark
they got the
matter.
dark matter on it.
And even the males are laying eggs.
That's interesting.
this man is overgasped. That was a very, I don't know why, but there was a very Simpson-y joke. I don't know why I thought that. I don't have a reason for that, but like just that line, just like this man is, I don't know.
Yes, it was.
Overall, it was.
I mean, I guess a lot of you could say that about a lot of lines on Futurama, but for some reason it just
That one in particular.
yeah.
Overall, I liked it. It was a really good episode. And like social media outrage fatigue, my outrage at Bender having a magical chest cavity is lessening over time.
Oh, look
now.
at that.
I mean,
That's good.
I've also been really tired, so it's hard to get so worked up when we start out. But I think this went well. After Tom cuts out all those side discussion,
I think it should just be the side discussions.
those will be in the outtakes. We have plans for those.
Okay, great.
I also
We're gonna
like
have you
the-
sign a release tonight.
when the free waterfall asked to make sure they use every part of my body. That was a good.
Man, his father was in there also at the end.
His father. What do you mean?
Free Waterfall the first.
Was in this episode?
Yes, just real quick. He said something to him. I don't even remember
You
where.
mean the
but-
lawyer? Is that who's
No,
his
he's not
father?
the lawyer. Well, is he the lawyer? Is he the one that fought in all the wars and lost all the stuff?
Yeah, lost his body parts. Is that who you're
The
talking about?
defense,
Because I missed it.
no,
I didn't see
in
his
in a
father.
later episode.
No,
episode.
they don't.
Also
even-
can't remember if that's
like,
that character's
bring-
name. The lawyer
Broke
guy.
the infosphere, Tom.
The give me a Satanist funeral lawyer.
See,
But
here.
that, and I also
And
like
his
the
husbands.
when the penguins, when Bender takes his tuxedo off and they start rushing at him, and Bender's like, "It's me, your lovable dictator." Like
It is the lawyer guy, old man.
he's in it,
Waterfall.
really?
Yeah.
Old man waterfall. Okay.
Lovely.
And then it ends with I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was really cute when the penguins had the
guns.
guns.
The rifles?
Like, yeah.
It's like Planet of the Apes, but with penguins.
Their,
Fantastic.
their eyes, it was just like they
It's
looked
just-
evil.
And that's one of those, you can only do that with animation. There's stuff on the
dog with
Simpsons and
shifty
Futurama and stuff.
eyes.
Yeah, where it's like that doesn't work. Or like the guy that the kid that looks like Bart that skateboards past the
yeah.
it's just like
Past the animation
yeah
studio.
like
Lester.
no, when he's like at Lester. No, it's because there's the two when the one when and we had
It's
nothing to do with that, and
Bart
they
and
saved
Lisa
Krusty.
try to save
Itchy and
it's
Scratchy.
save Itchy and Scratchy.
Yeah, the animation studio.
Oh, was that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you. I thought you. Okay, yeah.
Well, thanks for being our first three-peat guest, Bill.
Thanks for having me.
Well,
I enjoyed it quite a bit, as I always do.
We get into some weird places when you're on, and that's always fun.
When does this one air, do you think?
I think we're about 3 weeks out right now.
I don't know if the.
I'll just tell people, go to billsquire.com and buy my shirt. I have a new shirt that's a reference to a bit that I'm doing my act right now.
An homage to Notorious B.I.G.
Yes. So it says, if you don't know, now you know, fella. Because basically the joke is white people want to use the N-word to sing songs
Right.
that they like, but they can't. So you got to kind of change it up.
Change
So-
it up a little bit.
So it's me wearing like the Biggie crown, trying to recreate that famous picture of his. And then at the bottom it says, if you don't know, now you know, fella.
And I mean, so there's
What kind of shirts are they? Like
Ring
brand-
spun Gildan. They're nice shirts.
They're nice, soft.
Yeah, yeah, very soft.
That's very important to me when I buy shirts.
Well, no,
or
I
anything.
actually agree with that because I just got a shirt for my daughter's rugby team, and it's like a shitty Hanes shirt, like the tagless, like, and it's garbage, and I'm really upset about it because, like, I wouldn't mind wearing that shirt around, but it's so uncomfortable that I'm not.
They don't fit
going
right,
to.
and then they can shrink and like wrong, and
yeah.
yeah.
So I got because I went through
Chafe your nipples.
OK Pants designed it, and he makes T-shirts for a living. So
Yeah.
I was like, "What shirt do you use?" And he said that, and so it's a good quality T-shirt.
Yeah, I'm always like, especially like we have a lot of friends in bands and stuff, and you guys still are or whatever. Like, when you spend $10 on your friend's band shirt, and you're like, oh, you spent $3 to make this, and it sucks. Like,
right?
you know.
Yeah. I don't want to do that because I want it to be a shirt that people want to wear.
Yeah,
$20 or around there is for a good quality shirt. I'm not.
And that's what I'm trying to
Opposed
say.
to-
$20 and
$20.
I
Yeah,
don't know if this is accurate. The spreadsheet says this will come out on the 5th of
That
April.
sounds
Yeah,
accurate.
that's
and
correct.
so, I mean, but you have all of your dates up on BillSquire.com?
No, but that week I'll be April 5th. That week I'm at Hilarities.
Oh, awesome.
So if you want to come see me at Hilarities, I'll be there with Chris Frangiola, and Mike Kaplan is on Sunday. So he's real
cool.
funny. And then the following week is the Alan Cox Show comedy tour, but that's all pretty much sold out. It will be by then.
And
So-
that's a ton of great.
Yeah.
Well, it's all like regional.
It's
people,
all local guys.
but,
Like this year, it's Adam Richard, Mike Head, Wanda Mayfield, me, Alan, and Ramon's coming home.
yeah, it'll be good. So if it's probably too late to buy tickets now, but watch for clips coming out. You also do Hilario at Barrio. in
Hilario
Lakewood?
Bar every Monday in Lakewood. I mean, then
It's not Hilario at Barrio. That's how I say it in my
It's
in my
Hilario.
head.
at
Okay.
Barrio.
Okay.
Yeah, Hilario at Barrio, and then Comedy Cabin at the East End Tavern every Thursday.
Perfect. Those are in Lakewood, Ohio. So if you're traveling through Cleveland, that's where you should go on Monday and Thursday nights.
Yep.
We can be reached at slurmcastpod at gmail.com, at slurmcastpod on Twitter, at slurmcastpod on Instagram, on Facebook, at slurmcastpod. Slurmcast.com has all of our podcasts and other information.
Internet.com. That's how you find it.
Or you can just call us or text us at 216-438-1077. We've been having some traffic on there.
I interrupted you in the middle of something.
Yeah, I
with
was-
no regard for whatever you were
That's all
saying.
right.
So I just wanted to.
I would like to see Scratch and Sniff websites. Some websites I'd very much not like to see Scratch and Sniff on. Most of those are German. Thanks for listening, everybody. Please rate and review us in iTunes. Reach out. We love hearing from you, and have a great week. Bye.
Bye.